there now. Everybody on the floor understands how, when, and where Caitlin Clark can get them the ball. And so they get there. Kelsey Mitchell's obviously playing at another level. I think anytime you're a young team that's really growing into yourself, the understanding of one another, the timing, the pace, the connectedness, just wasn't quite there early.
You know what's crazy? Stephanie White used to think Caitlin Clark was just another overhyped rookie, but man, did that change fast. One game was all it took for White to completely flip her opinion. Now, White can't stop praising Clark. She's calling her a generational talent and saying things that'll make your jaw drop. It's like White saw a whole different player out there. What exactly did Clark do to change White's mind so drastically? Let's talk about Stephanie White's first impression of Caitlin Clark.
She obviously spaces the floor for us. She makes tough buckets. She gives us another option on the floor to run our off-ball screening action for.
You know what's wild? White used to think Clark was just another overhyped rookie. She saw her play in college and was like, yeah, she's good, but can she handle the pros? White wasn't sold on all the hype. But then something crazy happened. Clark stepped on that wnba court for her first game, and bam, White's jaw hit the floor. Picture this. Clark's nervous, sure, but then she starts playing, and it's like watching a whole different player. White's on the sideline, and you can see her eyes getting wider and wider with every play. Clark's out there dishing out assists like candy, sinking baskets from impossible angles and grabbing rebounds left and right. It's like she flipped a switch and turned into a seasoned pro overnight. White can't believe what she's seeing. By halftime, she's already changing her tune. She's telling everyone who'll listen, this kid's something special. And you know what? That's just the start. White goes from doubter to Clark's biggest cheerleader in one game flat. It's like Clark cast a spell on her or something.
And so it gives you another player on the floor that you have to be mindful of on and off ball, in isolation and in two-man. They make quicker reads and play with a lot more rhythm, better timing.
White's watching every move, every pass, every shot with this look of amazement on her face. But wait, it gets even crazier. After the game, White's practically glowing when she talks about Clark. She's gushing about her court vision, her basketball IQ, her leadership. It's like she can't get the words out fast enough. White's saying things like, I've never seen a rookie play like that. She's got the poise of a veteran. You know what's insane? White's even admitting she was wrong about Clark. She's telling reporters, I underestimated her. This girl is the real deal. It's like Clark took all of White's doubts and crushed them in one game. And now, White's already thinking about how to build the team around Clark. She's seeing the future of the Fever, and it's all about Caitlin Clark. Alright, so White's sold on Clark. Big deal, right? Wrong. What happened next is gonna blow your mind. Remember how I said White was thinking about building the team around Clark? Well, she's not just thinking anymore. She's talking about Clark like she's the second coming of basketball, and the words coming out of her mouth, they're changing everything. You know what's wild? White's not just praising Clark. She's shouting it from the rooftops. She's calling her a generational talent. But that's not even the half of it. White's comparing Clark to some of the all-time greats. We're talking Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird level praise here. Can you believe it? But here's the thing. White's not just talking about Clark's scoring. She's raving about her court vision, her passing, her leadership. It's like Clark's got the whole package, and White can't stop gushing about it. You know what White said? She said, Caitlin isn't just great for women's basketball. She is great for the entire game. She's more than just points. That's huge. Imagine this. White's in a press conference and she drops a bomb. She says Clark's game is changing the face of women's basketball. That's not just talk. That's a coach saying a rookie is reshaping the entire sport. And you know what's crazy? White's not just throwing out empty words. She's backing it up with stats, breaking down Clark's game play by play. You want to know how good Clark is? Get this. She set 62 records in her first season. 62. That's not just good, that's insane. White's watching all this and she's seeing something special. She's talking about Clark's ability to improve, to adapt. She's saying Clark just keeps getting better, that her work ethic is off the chart. And it's not just White who's noticing. The rest of the league is taking notice too. Coaches are scrambling to figure out how to stop Clark. Other players are watching her, trying to figure out her moves. But White, she's just getting started. You won't believe what she says next about Clark's future. While everyone else is trying to figure out how to stop Clark, White's busy cooking up something revolutionary. She's not just praising Clark anymore. She's reshaping the entire team around her. You know what's wild? The Fever are starting to look like a completely different squad, and it's all because of one player. Let's talk about what Clark's doing to the whole Fever team. It's not just her game that's changing. She's lifting everyone up. White's watching Clark in practice, and she's seeing something special. Clark's not just scoring, she's making everyone around her better. Imagine this. Clark's throwing no-look passes that have her teammates' heads spinning. But you know what? They're starting to catch on. And White, she's loving every second of it. She's telling reporters Clark's basketball IQ is off the charts. But here's where it gets really interesting. White starts changing up the Fever's whole game plan to take advantage of Clark's skills. It's like she's looked at Clark and thought, we've got a secret weapon, let's use it. Suddenly, the Fever are playing a whole new style of basketball. Fast, fluid, unpredictable. It's like they've gone from playing checkers to playing chess, and Clark's the queen on the board. Other teams are struggling to keep up. White's watching from the sidelines with this big grin on her face, like she knows something nobody else does. You know what's crazy? White's not just excited about Clark now, she's pumped about the whole team. She's talking about how the players are finding their groove and playing with joy. It's like Clark's enthusiasm is contagious, and the whole team's caught it. But here's the kicker. White's not just focused on Clark. She's looking at how to maximize every player's potential. It's like Clark's this bright star, and White's figuring out how to make the whole galaxy shine. She's got this vision of a team where everyone's playing at their best, all because of how Clark's changed the game. And just when you think it can't get any better, White drops this bombshell about Clark's potential. She's saying Clark's only scratching the surface. Can you believe that? After all we've seen, White's saying there's more to come. It's like watching the first episode of your new favorite show and finding out there are 10 seasons ahead. The excitement's just beginning. You think Clark's impressive now? White's got a 5-year plan that'll blow your mind. She's not just looking at Clark as a great player. She's seeing her as the foundation of something legendary. What if I told you that White believes Clark's current performance is just the tip of the iceberg? Let's talk about White's vision for the Fever. She's not just thinking about next season. No, she's mapping out the next 5 years. And guess who's at the center of it all? Yep, Caitlin Clark. White's not just building a team. She's crafting a dynasty. And Clark, she's the cornerstone of the whole thing. Imagine this. White's in her office, surrounded by whiteboards and player stats. She's not just focused on wins and losses. No, she's thinking bigger. She's talking about Clark changing the whole culture of the team. It's like Clark's not just a player. She's a revolution in Fever uniform. You know what's even crazier? White's already planning how to build the perfect team around Clark. She's looking at players who can keep up with Clark's style. It's like she's putting together a puzzle, and Clark's the centerpiece. White's even excited about the young talent they've already got. She's talking about players like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, saying they're stacked with potential. But here's the wildest part. White says Clark's only scratching the surface of her potential. Can you believe that? After everything we've seen, White's saying there's more to come. It's like watching a superhero movie and finding out the heroes still learning to use their powers. White's not just dreaming, she's predicting. She's talking about records falling, championships coming, and Clark becoming the face of the WNBA. It's not just talk either. White's got a plan to make it happen. She's focusing on improving Clark's defense, shot selection, and leadership. It's like she's taking a great player and turning her into a legend. And you know what? The way Clark's playing, and with White coaching her, it's starting to look like a real possibility. White's return to the Fever isn't just a coaching change, it's a full-on basketball revolution. She's got the experience, the vision, and now she's got Clark. It's like watching the start of something huge. The rest of the league better watch out. The Fever are coming, and they're bringing the heat. So there you have it, folks. Stephanie White's done a complete 180 on Caitlin Clark, from doubter to superfan in the blink of an eye. And you know what? It's changing everything for the Fever. White's not just excited about Clark, she's pumped about the whole team's future. She's talking about coming for it all, and she's not messing around. The Fever aren't just aiming for a playoff spot. No, they're gunning for the top. But here's the thing. White's not done yet. She's got her eyes on that number 8 draft pick, ready to add even more firepower to the team. It's like she's building a basketball powerhouse with Clark as the centerpiece. So what's next for Clark and the Fever with White at the helm? How high can they really go? One thing's for sure. The rest of the league better watch out. The Fever are coming, and they're bringing the heat.